Good morning. Do you need to reflect on change? That's what we're going to be looking at this morning after we've had a full week of different dynamics that actually, when we self-reflect on them, bring us to a place of, do I need to change? So this morning we're going to actually reflect on change. I'm Linda and I'm your soul mentor. And let's get into it. If you're here with me live this morning, feel free to drop a like down below, or if you're here on replay, do your hashtag replay. And if you know somebody who needs some information around changing their life, growing personally, feel welcome to share the video with them as well. Now, let's pull up what we need to do to reflect on change today on this wonderful Monday morning. Yes, it's a wonderful Monday morning. We get to jump out of bed. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say jump out of bed in Brisbane, but it's a bit chilly. But we do get to jump out of bed and be alive today. Okay, so we're going to look at the definition of change so that we nail exactly what it is we want to do. So the definition of change: to make the form, nature, content, future course, etc. of something different from what it is or from what it would be if left alone, to change one's name, to change one's opinion, to change one's course in life, to change one's week. And let's face it, change is always like that rock that you throw into the water, it has a ripple effect. So if we want to change what's happening around us, first change what's happening within us. Now, over the last week, we've looked at judgment, we've looked at saying no, we've looked at all the dynamics that go with both of them. We've looked at expectations and how expectations affect future generations. And, are we as parents putting things into a place to affect future generations? That's really super important to know. Because it's not just about us, okay? We want to be in a place and space in the world where we can have an effect and leave a lasting legacy that one day perhaps our kids will turn around and say, hey, that relative put in a heck of a lot of work so that we could have the life that we've got, have the changes we've got, and go from there. Okay, so how does change come into our life? So key one, change can come unbidden, or it can be something we consciously choose to do. So there's always changes that are out of our control. So the most predominant one is when someone dies. That's definitely right out of our control. Other people's behaviours out of our control. Our workplace environment is out of our control, i.e. if the company's going bust, that's right out of our control. So those kind of changes that we have to face come not necessarily with future knowledge that it's going to happen. For example, I remember getting a phone call one morning from my nan, and my grandfather unexpectedly just passed away in his sleep overnight, and it was a shock. These kind of things are life-changing, and it's like they reverberate through our entire being, and they're hard to face, okay? So we need to find a place of acceptance that change will come, because we don't want to live in a narrow box of trying to stay safe, because it doesn't happen. You end up very unhappy if you try to do that. Okay, so what happens for us when we choose to take a bunch of information and we consciously choose change? Okay, the first thing that's going to happen is trying to change can feel really, really risky, because we don't know what the outcome is. We don't know, we literally do not know what will happen as we try to change. So when we throw that pebble into the water and the ripples go out, we don't know how many people or what the effect of that change will be around us, okay? So then what happens is we feel like, oh, it's really, really risky for me to change or for me to implement even what we've talked about over the last 7 days. But then your question then becomes, do I want more of the same life, or in a year's time, or even 3 months' time, do I want things to have changed? Now, the word change can also make people feel like it's going to happen overnight. I can't remember the name of that ad, but, you know, it's the ad that says, it'll happen? No. It'll happen, but it won't happen overnight. It might not be an ad that goes around the world, that's the problem. So remember, change is something that, even though it sounds big, it's actually something that begins with one small movement. Oh, you're welcome, Rolga. You're welcome about the subject. It's something that it's happened a lot in my life, is change. And I never understood it. So when we feel that it's too risky, we need to sit in our heart and we go, you know what? More of the same is just not an option. And that's when we'll change. So key 3, the pressure to change becomes, it feels like a pressure within us that I can't do any more of this the same way. And that's when somebody reaches the place of change. Until somebody gets into that pressure point, they won't change. And because we can ignore our feelings, people will not change for extended periods of time, okay? But for you and for me, when we feel that pressure, we do have the ability to sit down and self-reflect and go, what do I want different about this? And to remember, the pressure isn't overnight, it's what can I do just to examine this at the moment. So if you were to go through and examine judgment, saying no, expectations, and what you want to do for future generations around change, I mean, they're just 4 subjects that actually have big impacts. If you felt the pressure in your heart and you said, okay, this is risky to change because I don't know what the outcome is, but I feel that pressure to change something or some way so that I have a different outcome, even in a month's time, okay, what am I going to do? What's the one thing that I can do? Okay, key 4, the timing for change is never perfect. So there's never a perfect time to start gym. Trust me, I know. There's never a perfect time to give up smoking, give up sugar. There's never a perfect time to be honest in a relationship. Okay, it's never perfect. And if we wait for perfect, then we're not being human. Okay? Waiting for perfect it's not human. Okay? We're not going to be able to have those conversations. Yes, I understand what you're saying, Rolga, actually. Let me just check this. Here we go. Now I can see all the comments. Sorry, I forgot to put the comments up. And thanks for coming, Rolga. It's wonderful to have you. We're not perfect, okay? And we can want to be perfect to try and control the situation, to try and control outcomes, and we can't, okay? We're not going to control how somebody else reacts. We can do it with kindness and caring, what we need to change. But at the end of the day, what I say is, even if we're afraid, and fear can grip us, because if we haven't been raised in a family that embraces change, fear will grip us at some point in change. Do it afraid, okay? I'm getting so used to doing things afraid now that it's not funny. I do a lot of things afraid because I don't know the outcome, but I can assure you that once you start doing things afraid, that you get used to being afraid and you just go, oh, I'm going to do it anyhow and see what the outcome is. So you learn to become excited of, well, I don't know what this outcome is, but I'm going to have a go. Okay, now we don't do stupid things like jumping off cliffs or out of aeroplanes, and if you love doing those things, all power to you. All power to you. But yeah, we're just talking about day-to-day embracing change in our life. Okay. Now, so if the timing's never perfect, take a deep breath, feel the pressure and go, I'm going to have to do this change, okay? And see what happens. And look, we've been doing these live videos for nearly 2 weeks now, and I had zero idea what would happen. I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And now I'm doing okay. You still get a bit terrified, but feel the fear and do it anyhow. Okay, and honestly, when change comes about, just take one bite of it today. And I've noticed too over time that if I can train my brain to just think, I just want to take one bite today, and then you get to realise how you're actually holding your breath inside as well. Like it's this sense of anticipation. Is my whole world going to cave in? Am I going to die if I just make this change? And most of us find the answer is no, we don't die from change. It's just the thought of it that really, really creates a pressure from within that we've got to take a, yeah. Yeah, and Rolga just says one good bite. Yeah, absolutely take one good bite. Okay, so being as though it's our 2-week anniversary here, I just wanted to give you some very succinct keys to think about today for change. I've recorded another video on change, which is also brief, and I'll put that up as soon as I've finished here. Yeah. And actually, when you think about the heartbeat and you're going to change, okay, and your heartbeat's going like this. And if you've suffered from anxiety at all, and I have deeply, crippling anxiety, you know that you're terrified of change, okay? But I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't do things afraid, because the anxiety that was in my life was absolutely crippling, like crippling to the point of having seizures, petite mal seizures. So we've got to retrain our brain that we are safe to make changes, and the only way we can retrain our brain is if we do it. It's in the experience that our brain learns that we are safe. That's a much deeper conversation that I wanted to have with you, but it's true. We have to be in an environment where we can say, I'm safe. So going on to the anxiety thread just a bit, when I would go to gym and I would increase my heart rate, all of a sudden my brain goes, right, she's unsafe, and I start not being able to breathe properly, etc., etc. And once I was aware enough, I was able to say, I am safe. Remember how we talked in the first week about I am being so powerful and saying I am willing? Well, when it comes to anxiety, we have to retrain our brain, and as Rolga says, it's retraining our entire nervous system, and it is, to be able to look around, to use our senses, okay, because our senses feed everything in from the outside in, that I am safe in this environment. And I'd been at gym for, I don't know, let's just say at this particular gym for 2 years, and I had to be able to say to my brain and teach it and repeat after me, brain, repeat after me, I am safe. And I knew I was safe in that environment, but as Rolga says, it's not just your brain, it's your entire nervous system. It triggers at the slightest thing. So that's where I found the 5 seconds breathing in and 5 seconds out. Very, very helpful when I first started overcoming anxiety. And then also saying the affirmation, I am safe. Okay, guys, feel free to, I'll just move this for you so you can see. Hang on. Yep. Okay, it's wonderful to have you all here. Thanks for all the love. It's just beautiful. Tomorrow and the next week, so for the next 7 days, I want to do a series on conversations we need to have. Okay? I'm not sure how it will unfold. My phone's off, but Siri's decided she needs to answer a question, or telling me I have an interesting question, but never mind. So I want us to be able to have a series of conversations about conversations we need to have. And I'm really looking forward to how the series unfolds. And I want to be able to thanks Olga, keep continuing to give you great tools and tips. I want you to be able to feel that you're comfortable to interact like Olga does, because I can see there's a number of you here. And I want you also to be able to feel comfortable that you can ask questions, that you can comment below. And if you have any ideas around conversations that you wish you could have, then feel free to either private message me about conversations you wish we'd have, and not just for yourself, but what are the conversations you wish you'd have in your family? What are the conversations you wish you could have with your loved one? Whether it's a partner, a close friend, or your husband or wife, what are the conversations you wish you could have? And in the conversations we need to have series, I'm going to give you tools and tips on how to have those conversations. Okay, bless you all. It's Monday morning here, so full on week ahead of work. And for me, I'm definitely getting the website up and running. Bless you all. I appreciate you being here. And I will talk to you, same bat channel, same bat time, tomorrow morning. Bless you. Bye for now.